Hello students, here it is new chapter flip-flop, registers and counters. So what is a flip-flop? Flip-flop is a memory circuit that is used to store a binary digit, either 0 or 1. So that is the memory part known as flip-flop. Such number of flip-flops, they are grouped, that is called as a register. So register, it is a group of flip-flops where, as we have seen, one flip-flop can store one binary digit. 4 bits have to be stored. We need 4 flip-flops. So 4-bit register that can be used to store binary data as well as to change the input-output method, that is from serial to parallel, parallel to serial. That is also known as serial in, parallel out, SIPO, serial in, serial out, SISO. So like that, to change the input output methods from serial to parallel, parallel to serial. So data conversion from serial way inputting to parallel way outputting. So that is about the register part. And counters. Counters means a circuit, that is electronic digital circuit, which is used to count clock pulses, where one clock pulse shows one event. For example, how many number of milk pouches they get passed for 10 minutes. So that has to be counted. So that count, here it shows whenever one milk pouch gets passed, one clock pulse. Second pouch gets passed through that roller, the count will be 2. So the binary output equivalent of those number of counted pulses can be shown at the output of counters. So this is about the introduction part that we are going to study in detail in this chapter. So first about this memory circuit, flip-flop, it is nothing but a bistable multivibrator. Bistable multivibrator. So what is a multivibrator? Basically multivibrator, it is a regenerative circuit. Means output will be high or low. Regenerative circuit which contains 2 active devices. For example, transistors. When one transistor conducts, other transistor goes off, and when other goes on, then the first goes to off state. So like that, one after another, they will keep on making output high or low. So that regenerative oscillator action, where basically it contains 2 transistors, where output of one transistor is given as an input to another transistor. That is the feedback system. But it keeps on making positive feedback available. So that shows the oscillatory action where the multivibrator is. So this is a regenerative circuit with 2 active devices. When one conducts, other goes to off state. When other gets turned on, goes to conductive state, the first goes to off state. So that is about multivibrator part. There are 3 types of multivibrators. First one is a stable multivibrator. Second one as monostable multivibrator. And third one as bistable multivibrator. So what is this? A stable, monostable and bistable multivibrators are. So here it is. First one, a stable multivibrator. It means its output is not stable. Means its output always keeps on oscillating. That is from 0 state to high state to 0 state, low state. Whereas monostable, its one state is always stable. For example, here it is. Always a low state, it will go to half quasi state, half state, that is the unstable state. Again it will return to its stable state. In case of bistable multivibrator, here it will change its state, again it will return to its stable state. So either stable state will be the low state or the high state. So that is bistable multivibrator. But the basic difference in a stable and bistable is, for a stable multivibrator, there is no external input to be given to start its action. That is only by making its supply voltage on. This a stable multivibrator, it will give high-low output sequence, that is the oscillator waveform, which is known as square wave generator as a stable multivibrator. Output is not stable, it doesn't need any external trigger. But in case of monostable multivibrator, here it shows as the low state is the stable state. If you provide external trigger, what is external trigger? Means you have to give a short pulse of voltage. Means if you make a switch pressed, it will make that to connect it to low level. So like that, you can make any external triggering action which will change the stable state to unstable state, and after the completion of certain time period, it will return to its stable state automatically. So that time period, here the width of this unstable width, here it gives this title as timer to this monostable multivibrator. So what is a monostable multivibrator? Its one state is always stable, either it may be low or high. If it is in a high state, it will go for certain time period to low state as the unstable state. Here it is been shown as low state is stable, it changes to its unstable state to a specific time period, that is the width, and after that completion of that time period, it will automatically return to its stable state, which is not in case of bistable multivibrator. Suppose initially it is in low state. Here you apply external trigger, it will change to high state. Unless until you provide another trigger to change its state, it will not come to low state. Means initially low state was stable, now high state is stable unless it is been provided with any trigger. So that is the difference, and that makes one point clear. For a stable multivibrator, there is no trigger required, but in case of monostable, it needs a trigger to change its output, and in case of bistable multivibrator, for every change it needs a separate trigger. For every change a trigger is required. So this is the basic difference between a stable, monostable and bistable type multivibrators. So here is the comparison of a stable, monostable and bistable multivibrator. So first part about a stable, then the monostable and the bistable. Okay, bistable multivibrator is nothing but flip-flop. Monostable multivibrator, it is the timer circuit, and a stable multivibrator is a square wave generator, that is oscillator circuit. Okay, so the output patterns are, here it is, a stable multivibrator whose output will keep on oscillating, always changing. Monostable multivibrator, if it is triggered, then it will enter into unstable state, and after completion of the time period shown by width W, it will return to its stable state. And in case of bistable multivibrator, here external trigger was applied, then it changed from low state to high state. Again, whenever you apply again the next trigger, new trigger, then only it will return to its another stable state. Here it means in case of a stable multivibrator, no state is stable, whereas in case of monostable multivibrator, one state is stable, and in case of bistable multivibrator, both states, that is two states, they are stable, either low or high. But in case of a stable multivibrator, there is no external input is to be given, no trigger required. Once you make its supply voltage on, it starts its working on its own. But in case of monostable multivibrator, here for a change, here it needs a trigger. In case of bistable multivibrator, for every change, it needs trigger, separate trigger. Correct? So these are the few points where we can compare 3 multi-vibrators. So what is stable multi-vibrator? Square wave generator, that is oscillator. Monostable multi-vibrator, that is the timer circuit, which is useful for the time period generation. For example, after 10 minutes, the water pump should get turned off automatically. Yes, here is the time setting. That is use of monostable multi-vibrator for timer operation. Bistable multi-vibrator flip-flop means either it can store bit 0 or bit 1, that is nothing but the flip-flop circuit. Here a stable multi-vibrator's output pattern always keep on oscillating, no state is stable. One state is stable, always low state. For unstable state, it goes for that particular time setting, but needs external trigger. For a stable, no trigger is required. For bistable multi-vibrator, both 2 states are stable, either low stage or high stage. So once it gets triggered, then only it changes to other state. So for every change, it needs separate trigger. So that was the comparison part of multi-vibrator, a stable, monostable and bistable. But basic point to study in this chapter is, already we have discussed many digital circuits where we have seen the inputs may be either logic 0, logic 1, and the output will also be like logic 0 or logic 1. But here, as we know, whenever there is change in input, there is change in output, because output is dependent on input. But in this chapter, we are going to study a new point, as even though inputs are changed, output doesn't change. So that has to be studied in this chapter. So this was the introduction of flip-flops, registers and counters, where the flip-flop is nothing but bistable multi-vibrator, timer circuit is the monostable multi-vibrator, and the oscillator, square wave generator, or it is also known as clock signal generator. This signal is basically known as clock signal, where high state and low state, it is arriving after certain period. So that is a periodical chain of high and low states, that is known as clock signal. So a stable multi-vibrator is nothing but clock generator. So here, what is a flip-flop? Which makes either bit 0 to be stored or bit 1 to be stored. So basically, multi-vibrator, it is a regenerative circuit with 2 active devices. When one conducts, other remains off. When other gets turned on, the first goes to off state. So let's continue the discussion how such memory device can be designed. That is 1-bit memory cell. 1-bit memory cell. Here it shows, yes, symbol of NAND gate. But this NAND gate, here it is used with only one input. It means internally 2 inputs are shorted, and NAND is used as NOT, that is the inverter circuit, correct? So here 2 NAND gates, they are used for inversion purpose. And how are they connected? Here the connection is upper gate G1, whose output becomes the input for lower gate, that is G2. Output of G2 becomes the input for G1. Here are the 2 inputs labeled A1 and A2. But observe here, output of any one gate becomes the input for the second. So let's assume here, as 2 cross-coupled inverters are used as 2 NAND gates. So NAND gates are used as inverters. Inversion. Let's say, assume output 1 and here it is the output 2. Suppose output 1 is 0. So this 0 will appear at the input of G2. As it is an inverter, surely it will invert it. It will make it 1. Okay, high state. Low state becomes converted into high state part. Then this high input, here it appears in inverted part, that is low output. So what do we observe? When output 1 we consider to be 0, then output 2 resulted as 1. That is exactly opposite state. But you may say, no, let's consider output 1 as 1, high state. Then again here, the A2 input, here it becomes 1. It again gets inverted. It becomes 0. 0 again gets fed back. Yes, feedback, here it is. Output is getting connected back to input. So 0 input of G1, again it results to be 1. That is the inverted part. So whenever we consider output 1 as high state, output 2 resulted as low state. It means these two outputs are always opposite to each other. And how does, here it's stored 1 bit. Whenever this bit is high, it is said to be set state. When it is storing 0 level, then it is said to be in reset state. So always remember these two terms. Whenever output is 0, it is reset action. Whenever output is 1, it is said to be set action. So first, as the main point, two cross-coupled NAND gates, they are used as inverters, correct? Then output of G1, it becomes input for G2, and again output of G2 becomes input for G1. So that is the cross coupling, correct? Next point, as whenever output 1 is 1, output 2 is 0. It means, suppose, let's say upper output, it is been labeled as letter Q, then the lower output will be opposite state, that is overhead bar, complement of Q. So both outputs, they are always complements of each other. COMPLEMENTS, opposite, complements of each other. So upper output is 0, then it is said that Q is 0, it is called as reset condition, and whenever Q is equal to 1, it is said to be set condition. So always remember, Q is 1, set state. Q is 0, reset state. Whenever it is in reset condition, means this circuit has stored bit as 0. Whenever the circuit is in set condition, means its output is 1, means it has stored a high bit. So this circuit is known as 1-bit memory cell. Remember that whenever Q is 0, complement of Q is 1. Whenever Q is 0, complement of Q is 1. And whenever Q is 1, complement of Q becomes 0. So both are always complements of each other. But what type of drawback do you find in this circuit? Here we considered output of one gate becomes the input of the second. So that is using the concept as feedback. Correct? But we can't apply external input to this circuit. We have to make assumption. Suppose Q is 0, then it is given as input to G2, then it becomes 1, then the input of G1 becomes 1, so it appears in inverted form as 0 at Q output. So like that, whenever the power supply is turned on, we have to assume what is the status of the output Q. So here, no way to apply external input. So that is the drawback of this circuit. Here it shows no external input can be given to this circuit, and for that there is another circuit that is made available by adding it before basic these two NAND gates. So here are the two additional gates G3, G4, where the next two circuits as first G1, G2, they can use again the feedback part, but here now we can apply the inputs and the output of G1 becomes the second input of G2. Output of G2, it becomes the input part, it becomes the second input of G1. So here you can provide in output Q, second output as complement of Q. So here in this way we can apply two external inputs. So this circuit is known as data entry provision in 1-bit memory cell, memory or cell, that is 1-bit memory cell. Here external input can be given through additional 2 NAND gates. So that is the new modified part of 1-bit memory cell, as to apply externally the required input that is to be stored in the circuit. But observe the relation. Output of G1 becomes the input of G2, but G2 has two separate inputs. Similarly, output of G2 becomes the input for G1, but again G1 has two separate inputs. Here only one input for each gate was considered, and then that circuit got modified. It became as data entry provision in 1-bit memory cell. So this was about the concepts as how two cross-coupled NAND gates are used as inverters. Output of one gate becomes the input for the other, and as both outputs are always opposite to each other, these two labels are given as output Q, then the other output will be complement of Q. Whenever Q is 0, it is called as a reset. Whenever Q is 1, it is called as set. Means this circuit can store either Q equal to 1 set condition, Q0 reset condition. It means this circuit is storing a binary digit, so it is known as 1-bit memory cell. But the drawback is no external input can be given. So this is the modified format of 1-bit memory cell. Here it is mentioned data entry provision in 1-bit memory cell. But always remember that any logic circuit, flip-flop, register, counter, it has to perform its operation within certain time limit, and that is known as the clock signal. So what is a clock signal? Here it is. Clock is a periodical train of high and low states. This is high state and this is low state. But observe, T1 is the period for high state, T2 is the period for low state. So whenever T1 is equal to T2, it is called as symmetrical clock. Symmetrical clock when high state and low state periods both are same. But when high state period is not same as a low state period, then it means T1 and T2 are not same. It is known as asymmetrical clock. So what is a clock? Clock is a periodical train of high and low states which can be used as a synchronizing signal. Means there is a restriction, time binding for logic circuits, and that is known as the synchronizing signal or the control signal, which is nothing but the clock. So every circuit, it has to complete its given task within clock cycle period, that is the period which is required to complete one cycle of the clock. So this clock period, it limits the working or operation. Any transition made by flip-flop, register, counter, any digital circuit, it has to complete its transition within one clock cycle, that is the period, and it is denoted by capital letter T. So here are two types of clock signals shown. One asymmetrical, where high state period and low state period are same, and T1, T2, high state period and low state periods are not same, then it is said to be a symmetrical clock signal. So this clock signal is used as basic time control signal, as synchronizing signal, or the control signal, which is the timing as the binding signal to complete given operation within the clock period. So this was the session about the introduction of flip-flops, registers, counters. Flip-flop being bistable multivibrator. What is a multivibrator? What is a stable multivibrator? Monostable, that is the third as bistable multivibrator. then how 1-bit memory cell can be designed. So our next session will start with new type of flip-flop as RS flip-flop.